Gérard Picot. I'm a board member of the Friends of Beaubears Island, and over the past few years, about 6 or 7 or so, I've been presenting at the yearly speaker series, and also have authored quite a few articles, historical sketches and short stories on the early settlers in the Miramichi area, and specifically surrounding Arcadia, New France, and the people that were in those, that were living those experiences and studying what exactly they had done, and looking at various stories and sketches concerning them. Well, first of all, Beaubears specifically, it's come to mind, and it comes more that a lot of the early history of Beaubears is not very well known. That's one of the major shortcomings when it comes to our local history. We know very much about the Scots. We know quite a bit about the indigenous ahead, and also there's current discoveries going on and revelations there going on. But there seems to be like about a 175-year gap in between. Like very little information is written about it. And I mean specifically because of the fact that after the 7 Years' War, most of the records of the French settlers that were in this area were destroyed. So we don't have any direct, I guess, link to that past. So we have to go and look around and find links and find anecdotal evidence that leads to. So it really leads you to do a heck of a lot of research, and you get kind of mired in these rabbit holes that lead you sometimes to nowheres, and then sometimes bears much fruit. So the aspects of the island that I've learned is that there's a huge history associated with specifically the island, but also the area immediately surrounding the island. The aspect of the Knee trading post and fort, and the mission that was established here in the mid-17th century. And so there's a lot of that history that's been lost to time. But by looking at the writings and the memoirs and the sketches of the participants who were here at the time, that's how we're able to bring that history forward, and then adapt our current knowledge to that. Well, there's a lot of inspiration. First of all, the executive director here at the Friends of Beaubears is a wonderful source for a lot of this. I mean, he is in love with history, and it shows. And so that it kind of, I'm not going to call it like the flu, but it's catchy. So it's something that kind of rubs off on you, and then you want to learn more. And Dr. McCarthy has given me some texts that are not in wide circulation, and so those texts and manuscripts and writings of the early history of Miramichi are very precious. And so we're able to go in there and study that. And I'm sure in some way or shape, he uses that as a sounding board to find more information. And I mean, part of my pursuits is I'm a bit of an amateur astronomer. And a lot of the information that's discovered, a lot of the discoveries are made by amateur astronomers, because they're the ones who are really sitting there and looking at the night sky, as it were, and discovering things, and then bringing that to the attention of the scientific or the academic establishments that then take that information and look and say, oh, okay, this is what you've discovered. And so, you know, it goes forward like that. And so the whole pursuit of history is brought forward because, as I said, there is so much to be learned that, you know, not necessarily is known. Our future endeavors, there's a project that I would love to get my teeth into, and I've been doing a lot of, I guess, initial scratching of the surface, if you can call it that, and looking at the trade routes associated with the Miramichi and the Miramichi River. And matter of fact, you know, Beaubears and all of that fits right into that, because essentially it's the intersection between the north and the south. And so at that time, obviously there wasn't any highway system. So the highway systems were the rivers, and those trade routes are something that I'd like to explore to a greater extent, and there is some tantalizing little tidbits that are coming out in others' research. W.F. Ganong is one of the sources, you know, stating that there's certain areas. Recent discoveries, you know, the work of René-Gilles Leblanc and genealogists that you know can carry the names forward and back. And so I think it's something that's very interesting and something that merits more research and scientific advancement with, let's say, LiDAR technology these days is moving the whole story forward immensely. Where we thought, well, you know, something looks just, you know, like nature, subsurface is definitely not. So I think that form of research is going to move our whole agenda forward. First of all, if I'm going to talk about my journey through this, it's something that kind of came around as I mean, I had I was immersed in history in my family. My father was a bit of a historian. My brother, you know, a theologian and also a historian and genealogist. Got me started on that, especially in the family side of it, and that aspect covering, especially here with the Acadian side of that whole story, and now more recently applying to trade routes. Now we find out that, as I said, the Robin Company had definitely a hand in this area, and my paternal ancestors were actually employed under that company. And so the conclusion is that I'm hoping that we'll be able to make some firm, I wouldn't say the discoveries, but I guess explorations and further refinements and crossing T's and dotting I's on something that's unique to Miramichi and its history.